A writer, Lucy Dixon, 38, from East Anglia, reveals why finding love once you've had kids is tough, and there's no snogging on his sofa. And I told Tom, a guy I was dating, that I didn't want to see him anymore as we wanted different things. He probably thought I meant marriage and commitment. You know, the things women are so unimaginatively accused of wanting more than men in reality. The things I want are fantastic nights out followed by lots of sex, but sadly they didn't seem to top his list of priorities. It might sound harsh to ditch someone because they're happy simply cuddling on the sofa once a week, but as a single mom, my free time when I can actually leave the house is precious, and I certainly didn't want to waste it watching telly with Tom. I've been flying solo since my divorce a few years ago, not long after my son Josh, now 5, was born. I started dating pretty much straight away. I was in my early 30s, single for the first time in 10 years, and, after the trauma of a failed marriage, was keen to go out, have some fun and meet new people. And, of course, the only way to find guys, if you're at home every night, while your child is asleep, is online dating. At first, it seemed exciting creating profiles on Match.com and plenty of fish, and immediately getting loads of messages. But I soon got the wind knocked out of my sails when I opened up to friends and family about my newfound love life. Their negativity was surprising and quite upsetting at times. Some felt it was too soon after my breakup. One friend suggested I should just focus on being by myself, while a particularly charming family member questioned why being a mother wasn't enough for me. They even implied that I should wait until my son was 16, only another 15 years on my own. Then their comments made me feel that my desire for dating and sex meant I wasn't measuring up as a mom in some way. But I seriously doubt any single dads ever receive the same type of criticism. I learned to keep quiet about my dating adventures and largely ignored the so-called advice, but I soon realized that meeting new men isn't quite the wall-to-wall fun I'd imagined. What became immediately clear is that lots of people my age are like Tom, old before their time and acting like we've been married for 30 years. I realize I'm not a teenager anymore, but that doesn't mean I want to fast-track to a relationship that involves arguing over the remote control when Match of the Day is on. Then there is simply my lack of free time. My son goes to stay with his dad every other weekend, so I have precisely 48 hours a fortnight to have fun. I unscrammed 4 dates with different men into 2 days, but as my ability to pick interesting and nice men online seemed to be rather lacking, having 4 bad dates in 2 days was just too depressing to repeat. Although I had no intention of introducing any of these casual dates to my son, the fact I am a parent did make me feel differently about whom I was choosing to spend time with. Even if all that happened was a no-strings fling, I was still more interested in what they were like as people. Did they have ambition? Did they get on well with exes? Were they kind to animals? Than I ever was before I had my son. Being a single mom has definitely made me fussier. In truth, I doubt we're even seen as a great catch, and imagine lots of people think I should just settle for whoever I'm lucky enough to get. But I still think I deserve someone really special. I'm sure anyone who has tried online dating has come across the married people, or the guys who are actually a foot shorter, 10 years older, and 3st heavier than their profile suggests. Well, it turns out there is a whole other layer of disappointment that someone in my position has to deal with. First up, there was the guy who told me he didn't really like women with children, and it annoyed him that there were so many mums on dating sites, even though I had written it clearly on my profile. I'm not sure what a man in his late 30s was expecting, but I sincerely doubt he's found it yet. Then there was the guy who wouldn't accept that I'm only free every other weekend and wanted to come round to my house once my son was asleep. Aside from the obvious safety issues, nobody expects child-free, single women to be happy with dates in their own living room, so why should I settle for that? I want to meet for coffees in lovely cafes, enjoy walks along the beach, and go on amazing nights out that don't end until the sun comes up. Another man I dated for a few months got annoyed that I couldn't spontaneously go to London for a long weekend because I had Josh. Sorry, but weekends away from me require months of notice and military-style planning. In fact, a single mom friend was seeing a guy who used her lack of spontaneity as an excuse for sleeping with someone else. Now when I spot the word spontaneous in a man's dating profile, I swipe left. I realize this all sounds pretty depressing, but then, by some miracle, when I'd been single for around a year, I met Jack, someone I really liked who seemed to really like me. As his kids were grown up, he didn't suggest we have our first date at a soft play area or express his disdain for solo parents. Gradually I introduced him to Josh, and I have also felt like I could trust him with my post-baby body. That's another part of hookups I found difficult, someone who isn't the father of my child, and therefore has no obligation to be kind, seeing my body. It doesn't get any easier as time passes, but a combination of wine, leaving some clothes on, and having the lighting low works for me. Things with Jack unfortunately fizzled out after a year or so. He was having a second youth of constant holidays and weekend breaks that I just couldn't join in on, as much as I loved his approach to life. And while I obviously ditched the dating sites while I was seeing Jack, I'm now on the verge of reactivating my profiles. However, that initial burst of optimism has worn off. Is it really worth dipping my toe in the water again? Some friends have implied that as I'm also approaching 40, I shouldn't be worried about sex or physical attraction. But I refuse to accept that companionship is all I have to look forward to, even at the advanced age of 38. In fact, I know I will meet someone special one day. Someone who understands that being a mom will always come first, but that I also want and deserve an exciting social and sex life as much as anyone who doesn't have kids. And when I do, I'll make sure he knows how lucky he is to have me in my baggage. We previously shared our tips to stop single-parent families from shelling out more for holidays. Last year, a mom slammed other single parents who drink at the weekend and says they should never have a night off.